And
We are live. We
we're
are
live.
live. I like your
Um,
colors. Because your colors. Does it change?
yeah,
Like in the room, you've got some sort of like color change
yeah.
situation going
You
on.
noticed that, yeah,
Yeah,
man.
I think I noticed it a few weeks ago. I just forgot to say something, but
Man,
yeah,
do you know me with the lights? I got
color purple
lights.
right now, isn't it? It's a
Yeah,
bit whoopee,
exactly.
whoopee
Yeah.
Oprah.
Oh man, seriously. Um, so listen, folks, you are listening or you've downloaded episode
Can you see that?
293.
Can you see that? What does it look like to you?
That looks like
It's like a vein, isn't it? Like the vein that you have
ah when you
in
have like
certain places.
in certain
It's
places,
that
yeah,
vein.
in the help. That's exactly what it looks like,
Exactly.
Devaldo.
That's exactly where it is as well, isn't it? Like right.
Oh shit, man! This is turning
This is
15
a movie.
already.
It's a movie review show. It's not what you think.
It's not what you think, actually, folks.
Anything goes.
Exactly. So Deval 293.
293. 293. Just you and me.
Just you and me. Um, so listen, look, folks, you've downloaded episode
Oh
293. We've
man.
got
Oh, what are we doing?
what are we doing, Deval? Honestly, we've got Beverly Hills Cop that we're going to be speaking about
Yep.
later on. So it's been 40 years since the original. 40 years, by the way, folks. 40
Mhm.
years since the original Beverly Hills Cop landed on screen. So we're going to be speaking about that. We're going to throw in obviously the usual stuff, trailers, streaming. But before we do that, Devaldo, please shout outs.
Quick shout out. So first one, and only one actually this week. We got one shout out this week, and it goes to Emmanuel P underscore LDN.
DN.
Otherwise known as Emmanuel, who you see on the show from
Yep.
time to time. Probably will see him next week
Yep.
because I won't be here next week. I'll be in Italia.
Because Deval's going to be traveling like he usually does. Italy.
Hmm.
Italy.
Exactly. Prego, prego,
Prego,
prego.
prego.
Yeah, so I won't be around. So yeah, hopefully anyway, I've even asked him yet. Hopefully
Yeah.
he
Yeah,
can.
we'll see. We'll
Otherwise,
see what happens.
we'll be stuck. But yeah, that's the only shout out today.
Yeah, wicked. Emmanuel, if you're listening. Emmanuel, what did you think of the intro music? That's
Oh,
what I'm asking.
I don't know why. When he said it, it's almost as if he was here, and I was waiting for him to say something, and
Say
I
something.
realized he wasn't.
He wasn't.
When
Exactly.
he listens to this, he'll say it.
Exactly. He'll say it and
But
he's
then,
going to message us on WhatsApp.
yeah,
All right.
pretty
So
much.
listen, yeah, folks, keep a lot with the Flixters. Remember, get in touch with us. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, what movies you're watching, because we're in this kind of summer, man, this is July. We're in this summer period, the big blockbuster movie
Mm,
period. Wolverine's coming up in the next couple of weeks. We've got
mm.
other stuff that's going to be coming on kind of streaming and stuff like that. So keep a lot with us and we'll let you know about all those movies. But let's do movie news.
Yep.
And Devout, man, listen, I don't know about you, but I've been hearing bits and pieces. I'm seeing stuff. I'm hearing reviews, chit chatter. And this isn't the first time we've spoken about Indian movies on the show. We reviewed
Remember
we
that
are
one?
Triple R. We reviewed Triple R, the
Mm.
funky dance. It won an Oscar for best music, for best song or something like that. The mad kind of action sequences. And another movie, people are telling me, oh, have you seen this? And have you heard about this movie? This movie is called Kill.
Mm.
And it takes place on a train. So this guy is so the story what I've read so far is he's trying to stop someone from getting married. He boards a train. He boards a train.
It's to stop an arranged marriage.
Exactly. All right.
That's all it is.
That's all it is. He's stopping an arranged marriage. He boards the train, but at the same time,
Oh
boarding the
man.
train are these kind of thieves or whatever, and he's got to stop the arranged marriage, but at the same time, he's got to stop these guys. And here's the thing: people have been saying it's the most violent. Like it's bloody, it's gory. The action set pieces up to the point where they've already announced, apparently, Devout, there's going to be a US remake.
Yeah, because the company that are involved with
What?
John Wick, they've bought the rights to make this in Hollywood. So
I mean,
yeah,
when
and
does that
this
happen,
film
man?
happens like that. Literally, this film has been tagged as the as India's
Yeah,
bloodiest film.
film. Yeah.
Bloodiest. Even the poster for this, the guy's in a t-shirt and
It's a
it's
bit,
drenched
yeah,
with
he's
blood.
drenched with blood
I've got to see
dripping.
this
So
film. It's
we
called
got to watch
Kill.
it. Yeah,
So you know what's
man.
going to happen. But this is all over an arranged marriage. I mean, hundreds of people are going to die because an arranged
Doesn't die
marriage.
in arranged marriage. I love
Flipping
the.
heck.
You know what I love. You know what I love about these movies. They're so over the top, right?
Mm,
But I think what's changing now is the appetite for these action movies. Like, we've seen John Wick, we've seen
mm,
Extraction, and
yeah, yeah.
we've seen RRR, and I think the production values have they've gotten so much better in
Mm,
Asia.
mm,
Like The Raid and those
yeah,
types of
yeah, yeah,
movies.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
They're competing now. So we'll see what happens. Deval, we got to put this. Let's put this on the watch
Yeah,
list, and when
definitely.
this comes out, we'll do it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But listen, before that, let's speak about this one, Avatar 4. Now, we've been kind of like, listen, look, when Avatar, the first movie came out, it was, amazing 3D. It was kind of like the mussy movie back in when, Deval? Shit,
2009. That's 15
2009.
years ago. Mm.
They took such a long time for the second movie to come out. And again, breathtaking to watch in cinema and everything. Um, and what they're saying is that Avatar 4 is basically filming in New Zealand.
Damn. Okay.
So we haven't even got Avatar 3 yet, Deval.
Oh, but I think that they're making them all at once, aren't they? So
They're
maybe
all
they're
doing it. So
making
I think
different.
what's happened is they've wrapped. So Avatar 3's done. They're
Probably,
probably doing
yeah,
the whole
yeah.
thing, and now they're doing Avatar 4.
Makes
But it
sense.
just goes to show you, James Cameron, this guy, he's not
Mm,
stopping on the Avatar thing.
mm.
How many more different stories are they going to tell about the Navi and the whole thing? I don't know.
I think there were four more, wasn't there? So we had Avatar 1, and I think they're making
Yeah.
four more films. That's what I
So
think.
this is going up to 5.
Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, yeah,
Jeez.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
all right. So it's the filming started in New Zealand, not too far away from over here. So we'll see what happens. And if you're interested, let us know. What did you make of Avatar 2? Was it,
It was all
did it
right.
live up to the hype? It was decent. It
I
was,
saw it twice. The
yeah.
graphics were really good, and it was really epic. You get your money's worth because it's like
Yeah.
3 hours. But
3 hours
yeah, it
long.
was decent. It wasn't rubbish.
No. No, and
Mm,
we'll definitely we'll watch the third of the fourth one.
yeah.
But yeah, there's more in the works. And listen, look, I also want to mention this one. So fans of Sony PlayStation games, Ubisoft, which is this massive kind of game developer,
Mm,
they've made some, uh, John Clancy stuff. Ubisoft, I think they're behind the John Clancy stuff, or the Splinter Cell. They've made this game called Watch Dogs, which I remember buying like years ago, man. It was one of the games that I bought because it's this weird thing. You play you're kind of like a thief. In the game, you're this thief. You got to do these mini games. You got to try and be kind of use your stealth. You've got to kind of use, obviously, kind of the people around you, this open world. You can jump in cars, you can walk into shops, you can shoot people. But if you do all that sort of stuff, you kind of attract attention to yourself. So you got to kind of find out the clues of why this thing has happened. So it was a decent game and everything. A big hit for Ubisoft on the PlayStation. They're turning this into a movie now. Devour. What do we know about kind of games and live action
sure.
stuff?
What don't we know? I mean,
Yeah,
the
some do
gaming
well,
industry.
some don't.
Yeah, true. Like, I mean, the gaming industry. I think we said it before. That is worth more than the movie industry and the music industry combined.
Yeah.
Multi-billion-dollar industry. So, in a successful game that has a real big audience, real massive following,
Mm,
comes across to the movies and makes a good movie, then that's going
yeah.
to make mad money as well. So
Mad.
we've seen Resident Evil, obviously the quality up and down with that one, but that
Yeah.
lasted
Yeah.
for ages. We've seen The Last of Us recently, turned into
Yeah.
a good
Really
TV
good.
show. We've seen what's the one on Amazon right now? The one
Fallout.
Fallout. We've seen that. Obviously Street Fighter. I mean,
That's
the list
coming.
goes on. The list goes on. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think there's lots more space for
Yeah,
this to
definitely
happen.
more space. And listen, look, man, the game's great. It's immersive, and there's kind of different elements to it. And I like this kind of spy thrillery. If they do make it kind of in the spy
Mm,
thriller vein, and they
mm,
add elements of the game to it, then yeah, man, I don't see why it shouldn't be a hit. So we'll wait and see for that one. So yeah, that's your movie news. We're keeping it brief because we want to get into kind of the main movie that we were going to be speaking about. But before that, let's do new on streaming. Now, Devat, I've seen the poster for this and I've read a little bit of a blurb about this. This is The Man with 100 Kids, which sounds mad. But what is this based off of a true story or what?
It's based off a true story. It's actually a typo on my part. It's not even 100 kids. Add
Oh
another
man,
zero. It's
Jesus!
1,000 kids. Yeah.
Oh man, the man with a
With a-
thousand
yeah,
kids. What's going on?
exactly. He's trying to be like Genghis Khan, man. I mean,
Trust me, man. I
yeah.
think like
So
everyone in Mongolia is a descendant of like Genghis Khan or
yeah.
something. But yeah, go on.
So this is on Netflix. This is a documentary. Is it a one-parter? I think it's a mini series. Yeah. So there's a few episodes to this.
Yeah.
Basically, a Dutch YouTuber called Jonathan Maria is accused of fathering
Oh gosh.
many kids, basically up to 1,000 kids, by using like fraud. Because you're not supposed to be able to do that. Like basically, sperm bank. He went to sperm banks. He didn't actually
Yeah.
sleep with all these people, but he went to
Yeah.
sperm
He's
banks and
donated. Right?
donated. Yeah, so I think he used fraud to be able to register and just put your sperm everywhere. So that's what's
Jeez.
going on with this, and I think this series uncovers that, and people are really angry and they feel lied and cheated to. And these are people's
Mhm.
lives. It's literally the epitome life, pun intended. It's
Yeah.
like people's lives we're talking about. So I haven't seen this yet, but I'm going to watch it this weekend. So I don't think it's too long. How many episodes is it? I think it's like three, 4 episodes.
Come again?
It's like 3 episodes. Yeah, 3 episodes.
Sorry.
So
Come again? This guy, man. Seriously.
It's come many times. Yeah.
It's come many times. But yeah, so it's a three-parter. And so I mean, this shit happens, man. I'm telling you, there's
Mm.
another documentary on Netflix which I read
Yes.
about this
The
doctor,
scientist guy, the doctor.
scientist. Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
he
Yeah.
did
Remember
exactly
that
the same
one?
thing. Women,
Yeah.
they're in a desperate position. They want obviously to have a child, and he's like, yeah, we've got a sperm bank for you. But it was
Yeah.
him. He was
Mm.
going into the back room. He was doing his business and inseminating these women, and then
Mm.
it turned out that a lot of these kids, they were related, and there were
Mm.
hundreds of
Yep.
kids.
Yep. Yep.
Oh
Yep.
man.
Yep.
So listen, look, yeah, we'll watch this and we will keep you posted on it and we'll let
Hmm.
you know exactly what happens. Yeah, and if you've seen it already, please get in touch
Yeah.
with
Let
us.
us know.
Let
Yeah.
us know.
Is 1,000 kids too much? Is it not enough? I mean, what do you think? What do you think the limit should be? Should it be like
Bro, man.
a 10 kid cap? Like, how does it work? You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you just keep going in and donating to. Oh man, I don't even want to think about it. But anyway, yeah, let us know if you've seen it and what your thoughts on it. Now let's do trailers. So Deval, you're going to fill in the blanks over here. So this one, Flight Risk.
Yeah.
I'm assuming some fugitive on the
This one,
run.
yeah. You know what? Yeah, good guess. Yeah, this is Mark Wahlberg, and
Ah,
it's directed by Mel Gibson. And this
ah,
one is about a pilot who, well, I don't know what, but basically he's a pilot, but yeah, he doesn't hijack. No, let me get it right. It's a small plane. It's like one of those
yeah,
cargo planes, really small.
yeah,
There's 3 people on the plane, Mark Wahlberg, and they're sort of taking who is this guy? Yeah, he's someone that's going to go on trial.
right,
So
okay.
he's got information of some mogul who
Mm,
he can put down. He's got key information. He's a key witness. That's the word.
yeah,
He's a key
that's it.
witness,
Yeah.
and they're transferring him from one place to another place. And Mark Wahlberg finds out the key witness on the plane, and he basically kills the real pilot, impersonates the real pilot, and then
Oh, right.
now he's there on the plane. He wants to get rid of the key witness, and then the lady, I'm not sure, she's a air marshal or something like that. So it's them three on the plane. It's
They got a battle.
cozy, it's intimate, yeah. And slowly they find out Mark Wahlberg isn't the nice guy, and he looks bad as well. He looks different. They've actually shaved his hair, so he's bald, and
Okay,
yeah, he just looks so different. But yeah, this
that's
looks
interesting.
interesting. Yeah, this is interesting.
It's interesting that he's gone for the villain role.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. It's probably, I reckon it's probably enjoyable playing a villain after being a
Mm,
goodie for so long. So I don't know. It looks interesting anyway.
yeah, have a bit of fun. So go check that one out. That's called Flight Risk, and we'll see that soon. I think it's coming out in October. Now, this next
Mm.
one is called The Inheritance. So Deval, yeah, tell us about this one.
Yeah, this one looks like a cheeky little horror film just to
Mm,
watch. If you've got nothing better to do. The inheritance is about a bunch of people that are somehow linked through relations or whatever. They come to a big mansion,
Yeah.
and the old sort of the old man at the mansion owns the mansion. You know, he's rich, and he
Yeah.
tells them all that he's going to die at midnight.
Mm.
Yeah, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, have we spoken to the doctor? Like, what's wrong? Oh, how can we help?" And he's like, "I said I was going to die, but I'm not sick." You know,
Okay.
so it's like
Yeah.
something's going to kill him, or someone's going to kill him at midnight.
At midnight.
And I
Yeah.
think they need to
Figure
stop.
out.
Yeah, they got to figure something out or stop it happening so that they can inherit his monies.
Okay. If they stop
Yeah,
it, then they inherit the money.
I think that's what it is. Yeah, I think that's
Okay.
what it is. So, but then what happens is, yeah, people just start dying.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
People
Yeah. Yeah.
start dying.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, that doesn't look like the best horror film, but it looks like it
Mm.
could be
The
entertaining. A bit
premise,
like
yeah.
the vampire film I watched recently, Abigail. It reminds
Yes.
me a little bit of that, a little bit, because they're trapped in this mansion as well.
And yeah, and they don't know who's basically hunting
Mm,
them down. So sounds interesting,
yeah.
that one. All right, okay, so go check that one out for us. And listen, this next one, this is called Jackpot. And
Mm.
what is this? Is this like a what money movie, like comedy? What is it?
Oh, you got a good. You know these stuff, don't you? You know what you're talking about. Well, you should know. You're a flickster.
Fixture.
Exactly. So this one, Jackpot. This stars Aquafina
Okay.
and John Cena. Also Simu Liu.
Okay. Oh,
Uh, and
Shang-Chi.
Shang-Chi. He's in it as
Yeah.
well. Directed by Paul Feig, who done like Bridesmaids and stuff like that.
Mm.
This is coming on Amazon Prime in August, and the premise of this film is it's based in California or LA,
Yeah.
2030. So
Okay.
the sort of near future,
Yeah.
and Aquafina is a struggling actress. She returns to LA. She hasn't been there for a long time. She wants to get back into acting. She goes for auditions, and then while she's waiting for her audition, she pulls out her lottery card that she played. She forgot about it, and
Yeah.
it seems like she's won. She's like, "Oh, I've won the lottery," but this is the
Yeah.
near future. So,
Okay.
and it's also a weird future. Whereas everyone else that bought lottery tickets, they see who's won, her
Oh
pictures,
shit.
and
Yeah.
also the rules are if you you basically got until midnight. If you kill the person who won the lottery, you get the money.
Oh
So
shit.
all of LA
Mad.
comes running for her.
LA
There's
comes for her.
scenes where she's running and people are chasing her, and John Cena is her only protector. He's there to
Yeah.
try and help her. He's beating people up. It's great. It's comedy, action comedy, and it
Wow.
looks fun. It
Yeah, it
does
looks
actually
fun.
look fun. Yeah,
It's fun.
yeah. It's mad. It's mad, mad, mad.
Yeah, that. Oh, you know what? I'll watch that one. And it looks like, just looking over here, it says it's going to be on Prime.
Yeah, yeah. Amazon. Yeah, yeah. Amazon Prime.
Yeah,
Mm,
wicked. All right. Well, listen, you don't even have to go out. I mean,
yeah.
to watch that one, you can go check it out. And when's that one coming out, Devaldo?
August 15th. So literally a month.
A month away
Yeah, pretty much.
from when you hear this one. All right, okay, that'll be on definitely on the watch list. So we'll check that one out and we'll let you know about it as well. All right, let's do anniversary corner, and it only makes sense that we actually include this one from 1994 because of the connection that it has to the main movie. This
Mhm.
is Beverly Hills Cop Part 3, which came out in 94. And I mean, listen, look, obviously the first one, the original one, is a classic, and we'll speak a bit about that, in the main movie review. But that one, 84, I think part 2 was 87, and this one came out. And by the time it came out in 94, I think, Deval, there was it was derided. It didn't do well at the box office.
Mm,
The critics obviously didn't like it.
mm.
But it shows you, man, that there's definitely kind of love for that character, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, back in the day, did you have a lot of trilogies? There were a lot of sequels, maybe not trilogies, but
Mm,
yeah, people, if they like the character, it will, they will come back. It will make money. This is, Eddie Murphy, kind of still at his heights, I'll say,
yeah,
because he like from the sort of late 70s, 80s.
yeah.
My man was, he was a funny guy. Comedy, movies, Coming to America, Golden Child. I mean,
Mm.
so many. So yeah, so I think this one here, it was probably definitely on the way out. You
Yeah,
know, after
yeah.
this one, I think they realized Beverly Hills Cop needs to just retire, put in his badge, you know,
Exactly.
get a desk job, no more running around. And that was 30 years ago. Yeah.
30
30
years
years ago.
ago.
1994, 30 years ago. That's what they thought then. So,
Exactly. So that's what exactly. So if
mm,
you haven't seen obviously the Beverly Hills movies, go back to obviously the first one, and you got to add the part 3 in there. I think you can catch them all on Netflix anyway. And that leads us nicely onto the main movie, which is Beverly Hills Cop. And it's not they went with the title not Beverly Hills Cop 4. They've just gone Beverly Hills Cop and Axel F.
mm,
And I mean, I'm going to just kind of second what you just said, man. AE's Eddie Murphy was untouchable. Like, he had like, obviously Beverly Hills Cop, 48 Hours, The Golden Child was what you mentioned.
mm,
And then he had all the comedy specials that, the stand-up specials, Raw, Delirious, Trading Places, which is a classic of mine.
mm.
Like you mentioned, Coming to America. So I think AE's Eddie Murphy was the most successful actor, like, in that decade. And to think,
Yeah.
Devaldo, Sylvester Stallone was originally offered the Beverly Hills Cop role.
Is it?
It went to Stallone. And
Oh,
imagine if you did that. It just wouldn't
that's a
work.
different film. A
Different
whole
film,
different movie. Yeah.
whole different energy. I don't think it would have worked. But when this guy touches, especially like 80s Eddie Murphy,
Mm,
and then in the 90s, his career kind of tailed off. And then I think there was maybe one or two things that he did. But then I do remember about 3 or 4 years ago, maybe even 4 or 5 years ago, he did come back with Dolomite Is My Name, which I absolutely
yeah, yeah,
loved. And then he came back with Coming to America 2,
yeah.
the second one, which kind of, he dropped the ball here. But here we are, 2024, 40 years later from the original, Beverly Hills Cop in 1984. And you know what? I went into this, Deval, and I think I mentioned this to you before about a couple of weeks ago, months ago, whatever. I said, I'm not expecting much,
Hmm.
and I'm going to go in with a low expectation. And I was pleasantly surprised. I got to say, I was pleasantly
Okay.
surprised. I know a lot of people out there, they're like, yeah, it's they haven't really kind of pushed the boat out with this.
Mm.
But if you look, it's mainly more nostalgia, more than anything. And you look at Eddie Murphy, and I was like, is this guy in his mid 60s?
Yeah, yeah. I think he even made the joke in this film with his boss, the captain,
The captain, yeah.
who's Burke from Aliens 2.
Yes.
And he says to someone, "Look, we're the same age, but he looks 15 years older than me."
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, clearly, whatever Eddie Murphy's doing, it's just like, he looks great. And
He's
then
also the man with 1,000 kids, isn't
with a
he?
man with 1,000, man, this guy's got mouths to feed, this guy, right? So, the movie starts off, it takes place in Detroit, and we get to see him and this kind of hijinks, Eddie Murphy doing this whole thing. And you know what I genuinely thought? I thought they were going to kind of tame it down. They weren't going to have kind of a lot of kind of swear words in there. I thought they
Mm,
were going to make it like a PG thing, but I think they kind of went out, like they kept the beating heart of what made the original
mm,
movie so great, and that's Eddie Murphy. Like, that kind of that funny kind of comedic character, and he's trying to do action scenes as well.
mm.
You know, I mean, he does a lot of driving in this, and I guess
Yeah,
that's probably because he can't do a lot of the other.
yeah, yeah. Running and jumping and all that kind of stuff.
No, no, he can't do that. And then so there's this kind of story where I'm thinking, right, okay, we're getting to see him in Detroit. We've got to find out, right, okay, what's the what do they call it? What's the MacGuffin? What's the kind of the thing that gets him into Beverly Hills Cop? And then we find out that he's got a daughter in Beverly
Mm,
Hills. There's a murder that she's kind of dealing with, and then slowly, Axel gets sucked into that kind of world, and he's got to help his daughter out, and teams up with Billy and with Taggart again. And you know what? It's not, it's not obviously a classic. It's not obviously better than the original movie, but it's got enough in there for you to have fond memories of those original ones. I think it's better than the third movie without a doubt.
yeah.
um
Even the film, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, is that his
Yeah,
name?
he's in it as well.
Yeah, he's going through the file saying, "Oh, you've been busted here before. Once in 84, once in 87,
87.
and once in 94." He goes, "Oh, that wasn't your finest hour," and he's kind of taking the piss
It's like a meta.
with the fact
Like
that
you,
that film was the worst one.
was the worst one out of the lot.
Yeah,
Exactly. So, you got all these things. Listen, comic book villains,
mm,
there's like, don't get me wrong. There's like, the villains aren't really kind of offering much,
no,
in terms of kind of, the level, the threat
no
level,
depth,
no
no
depth,
sincerity.
one
Similar to what
dimensional.
uh, oh my gosh, my mind's gone blank. Ainsley said it a few weeks ago about a real villain, and the fact that a villain, if they themselves believe that what they're doing is right and righteous, then the villain has layers. It's almost like the
Mm,
audience empathizes with the villain's, motivation, and it
mm,
gives the villain a bit more gravitas. But I think with these films, a lot of the 80s films and 90s action films, it was just, oh, I want to take over the world, or I just want to do this, I want the money, or there's a real simple motivating factor, which I think in this, they purposely not tried, they didn't try to make it too deep.
no,
Listen, action comedy, it
mm,
doesn't need to be too deep,
no.
so I think that's what they succeeded in, really. They kept it in the bracket of what it was and didn't color outside the lines. They just kept it in there.
Yeah, and I think people will appreciate that. I don't
Mm,
think you need to go into this movie expecting like extraction level action movie,
yeah.
like high quality. No, this is a Beverly Hills Cop movie. They're trying to keep it with that same vein as the kind of the
Yeah.
originals, and
I want to ask you a
just
question though, yeah?
yeah, go on.
How soon? I mean, I think have you mentioned the story? You mentioned the story, didn't you? Pretty
No,
much.
you
Just
meant
what?
no. I want you to make no. Break it down for
Oh,
the
okay.
for
Okay.
our listeners.
So yeah, the story basically is Axel Foley is, he's basically coming to retirement. He's still the same sort of character, all that kind of stuff. He's in Detroit, Michigan, and something brings him basically to Beverly Hills, where he's got to sort of investigate a case because he's seen something going on basically, and investigating that case. As he gets deeper into it, he realizes his daughter is also involved in this case, in which a man was framed into the fact that a cop was killed.
Mm,
And it's these dirty cops and drug people are all involved in it, and they sort of put this person in the frame, and then so she's trying to basically represent that person who's being framed, and in doing so, her life is in danger because those bad guys are saying to her, drop the case," and
yeah,
now that's Eddie Murphy's daughter. She's a good lawyer. Now he's involved trying to protect her and also find out who's really behind it all, and that's the sort of basic sort of premise of the whole thing, uh, and that's the reason why the film is here. Obviously, Kevin Bacon's the main sort of villain. He plays it really well.
mm,
Hardly has to go into second gear. I would say he just does
yep,
what he has to do. But the question I asked you was because when I first started watching this film, there's a scene in a ice. I think there's an ice hockey game happening right at
yeah,
the start, and that's where he's investigating one of the first sort of. It's a separate case, but he's investigating some people that are trying to steal something.
mm,
And from that very first moment where he engages with those criminals and he starts to chase them,
yeah,
that's where you realize this is a real action comedy. Don't
yeah.
take it too serious
Don't
because
take it
the way
seriously.
they're
Yeah.
chasing, he uses this vehicle to chase them, and he's hardly moving. They're getting away on motorcycles, and it's just like you're
It's
like,
like how would you chase down these criminals? These are hardened criminals. Like, they've just like killing people, whatever. Yeah, man. I know absolutely. And then within the first, like, say 10 minutes of the movie, where
yeah,
you are with this movie.
yeah,
So don't
yeah,
be expecting,
mm,
like I said, like Deval mentioned, like, kind of this deep level type of a story. It's
nah,
just kind of Friday night,
yeah,
you know, put on, don't expect much, leave your brain at the door type of a thing, and just kind of enjoy the nostalgia of that whole 80s period. It's got the music,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah, 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 yeah.
the one I'm talking about. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know that one. And then it's got what's the other big song in there?
I don't know.
The heat is on. Remember, the heat
Oh.
is on. So it's got all of the 80s kind of
Oh
vibe
my
to it.
gosh.
It's got all of that stuff to it. So if you love that, it's gonna be right up your street. And
Mm,
yeah, man, it's not. It, like I said before, I thought it was going to be poor, and I didn't think it was as bad as what I thought it was going to be. So that's a
mm.
plus for me. It's a positive anyway.
And
Now,
that's the way to go in, because if you go in with anything else, you're not gonna have a good time.
yeah.
It's,
Now, what do you reckon though, Deval?
mm,
Do you reckon this is going to be a success on Netflix? Like, could there be, i.e., meaning, could there be like a Beverly
sequels
Hills
and all
Cop
that.
5?
They shouldn't be. There shouldn't be, because then it's gonna get shit.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna get shit. That's what I
yeah.
think. I
Because
think. Mm,
what I think was with Coming to America, they thought, let's see how this one goes, and if
mm,
it's successful, we can make another one. That
mm,
one didn't do well.
mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm.
Now,
No,
this one I think might have a bit more mileage. So
it might do. Yeah,
does that bit more mileage mean, oh, we could maybe do another one?
I reckon what they're going to do with another one. Do you know what they're going to do? They're going to say he's got a daughter. He's now going to have a son who is somewhere else doing these cases, and then he's going to
Cases.
go. Going to be a buddy cop film, him and his
Yeah.
son, and that's what's going to happen. Similar with Coming to America. He's going to have
Mm.
an unknown son.
Yeah.
That's what I
They,
think.
they
So
could easily weave that into the plot
yeah,
line and
yeah,
whatever. We'll have to wait and see. Have you read any? Obviously, our review is the only one that you
that
obviously need to
matters,
listen to.
of
That
course.
matters
Yeah,
anyway. But have you seen? I haven't seen any of them. Anything major. I don't.
uh,
So I don't know if people are saying it's a flop or if it's
on
whatever.
IMDb anyway, it's got a 6.7 out of 10 out
Which
of
is decent.
19,000 reviews, which actually isn't too bad.
Which isn't too bad.
Yeah, not too bad.
Which
Not
isn't
too
too
bad.
bad. So we'll see as the days progress and the weekend gets on. Because I mean, in the States, I think they're just having their weekend now. I think so.
Mm.
We'll probably see
Independence
maybe
Day and all that.
exactly Independence Day
So,
weekend. So
mm,
maybe kind of more people view it, and we'll see what happens. But listen, look, folks. You know what? It's a thumbs up from me. But don't go in there expecting this to be kind of like anything special.
mm-mm. Nah, exactly.
Exactly. All right. Okay. And that is it for this week. Remember, we've got more movies coming up. We're going to be doing what we
Maxine
doing?
soon.
Maxine soon.
Maxine's coming out soon. Yeah, that's a good film. Long
And
Legs is coming out soon. You know, you like Long Legs, don't you?
oh, I love long legs. Love long legs. Oh, and by the way, we're going to try and fit in, Deval. We've been meaning
Yeah.
to speak about this movie, this Argentinian horror
Ah,
movie,
where
and
when
maybe
where
that'll
evil
go
lurks, that will go
when
with
it.
Long Legs, I think,
I think
because
so.
usually, if you know, Long Legs usually
Leads to
leads you to
evil
where evil
to where
lurks.
evil lurks. Exactly. There's something lurking there. So listen, folks, keep it locked with the Flixters. We've got more movies, more more jokes coming at you like a pair of legs.
Exactly.
And yeah, we'll see you on the next one.
All right. Peace out.